Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to TalkCrypto. We're going to chat a little bit about Cardano again. Again, thanks for all those new subscribers who hopefully enjoyed the last video talking about Cardano. Quickly, before I dive into it, today is Monday the 29th of April, and a bit of an update on price. BTC is 62,000 or thereabouts. Like I said a while back, I think we're just going to be sideways for probably a month, maybe two, before we see some action. So don't worry, guys. In all honesty, relax, sit back and enjoy the ride. Nothing lot's happening. Yeah, update. Well, I can't give you an update on my $1 a day Bitcoin challenge either, because I haven't bought my sats yet. But I will, I promise, and I'll put that amount in the comments section or the description section later. But probably, I'm guessing it's going to be around about 1,900 sats for my $1 a day. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, if you're new to the channel, firstly subscribe, like the video, really appreciate it. Help a guy out, new channel, really appreciate all the support that I'm getting so far. But yeah, watch some of the other videos and that may explain what the $1 a day Bitcoin challenge is. Quick one I want to talk about, which is really sort of probably picking up a little bit on the last video I did, and I was talking about, and this is talking about Cardano, ADA, and the reasons why I like it as a project, and I just sort of was talking about similarities with Bitcoin and why both of those projects just, you know, hit me. You know, they I have a calling, if that makes sense. And one thing I wanted to just follow up on was the importance and the significance of the Chang Hard Folk that's coming up with ADA. Now, what exactly is that? Okay, so basically, it's bringing a decentralized governance onto the blockchain. Now, what does that mean? And why is it significant? Well, firstly, if you think about any voting system in the world that we live in right now, there is the potential for abuse, for fraud, for manipulation, whether that's postal votes in the UK, which we know is a major issue, whether that's Putin being voted in with apparently 90-odd%, I don't know, whatever it was, you know, whether it's, I don't know, even voting as a shareholder for, you know, for your investment, and, you know, they've got their annual board meeting and shareholders meeting, whatever the hell it's called, and you've got to vote on who, you know, X, Y, and Z people to be re-elected to be sitting on the board or whatever it is. So there's, even to the extent of education as well. I mean, I know that's not voting, but we're talking about, I guess, you know, evidencing qualifications, things like that, proving that somebody is who they say they are. They've achieved what they want to, you know, what they've said they've achieved, etc., etc. There's so many use cases for blockchain technology in the real world, not just in our Web3, you know, degen, you know, pump and dump world, but really for any crypto project to get mass adoption, it needs real world utility. It needs, and again, if you come from the perspective of a long-term horizon, if you're actually in this because A, you believe in a new money, Bitcoin, B, you may be really fascinated and interested in the potential of the new technologies that can improve the world, and that's blockchain technologies. And of course the Bitcoin maxis will say, you know, don't invest in anything other than Bitcoin. But the reality is, these blockchain technologies, they're not trying to compete with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the king, and that's will always be the case. But there is a huge use case to improve the world using blockchain in many other, you know, many other regards, and many sort of circumstances, and use cases, and all the rest of it. So for me, it's really great to see projects thinking about that long-term, broader, bigger picture, because ultimately, if we want a project to really succeed, not just next week, 6 months, 18 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years. It needs to be built with the future in mind, with actual use cases that are going to actually impact, and what better than really where Bitcoin was born, was with decentralized money. Decentralization is at the core of crypto across the board. Well, good crypto projects. There is plenty out there, unfortunately, guys, where there's a lot of centralization, maybe sort of pretend to be otherwise. But the significance of the Chang Hard Folk is they're trying to bring a decentralized governance, so no one can control it. No one can control the decision. No one can manipulate the decision. It is on the blockchain, cannot be manipulated with, and it's decentralized. Everybody has an equal voice. So no longer is there that opportunity for bad players to, play the system. So it's hugely significant. Hugely significant. And obviously if Cardano do this well, which I suspect they will, because they always take a long-term horizon, they always take their time, it's all done with peer-reviewed quality. So they're not trying to quickly get something out the door, move things, what's the saying they use? Move fast and break things and don't worry about it later, or whatever the phrase is, but you know what I'm talking about. They have a very methodical process, and this is really important, guys, because we're not talking about insignificant things here. We're talking about people's money. We can't be messing around with your money. That's suddenly, oh, we've just had to move fast, and oh dear, it's broken, and oops, sorry guys, you've just lost a lot of money, or oh, your vote, oh, we lost it, it didn't count, but we're just going to do something, and we'll sort it out next time, but we'll decide this time. Things like this need to be done properly when it's dealing with people's money and people's voice, voting. It's not something that should be taken lightly. And I think the great thing with Cardano, with their peer-reviewed process, is serious players will take it seriously, as opposed to maybe other players who maybe spin things up because they're going, oh, let's follow what Cardano did because they did something really cool and blah blah blah, and they seem to be getting traction or whatever it is. Cardano have always just led from a first principles basis, not what's in it for the short term. So what does this mean? Okay, so basically, obviously, with the Chang Hard Folk, with the decentralization, there's going to have to be a process that they have to follow. First is, I think, something like delegation reps or something like that has to be sort of created or introduced. I think they're then going to have a in-person conference to, I guess, with all the, key stakeholders that were involved in the community in various guises, and I believe that's happening in Buenos Aires, where basically they just get together and drafting a constitution. So again, somebody has, you can't decentralize this really. You need to form a foundational layer to go, let's have a debate, let's get all the key parties involved, let's talk about how we can shape it. And again, they're not just, they're not, IOHK aren't just going, oh, this is it, what do you think, guys, let's just vote on it. They're going through a process of bringing all these vested interests within the Cardano ecosystem together to listen to all the voices, drafting constitution, and then off the back of that, they'll then come up with, a proposal of what they think the constitution should look like, and that will then be put to a vote on chain to the Cardano community, which is really exciting. And I can't wait to see really how this all plays out. Now, to be honest, guys, for me, again, I don't really see this as a big thing in the sense of, oh yeah, that means price is gonna go rocketing up straight. it's a foundational process. It's a foundational layer that they're building. That again goes back to my premise of this is a long-term play. Cardano's been built for the next 100,000 years, or should I say 100 to 1,000 years? Who knows? Maybe 100,000 years. It's not been built for next week type thing. So I don't expect significant sort of activity or change or anything like that. Again, it's about building foundational layers. It's about putting the infrastructure in place. Once it's there, then use cases will come from it. Governments will be, maybe approaching, Cardano for, voting in their sort of elections. Who knows? It's going to be really interesting to see what sort of comes out of it. But there is, like I said right at the beginning of the video, there are so many use cases that it could be applied to. It's mind-blowing. Whether indeed it could even be applied to, we talked about interoperability with other blockchains, which I think ultimately that's probably what's going to happen. Is Cardano will be almost like the ultimate base layer, and other projects can basically leverage the technology that Cardano have built. So Cardano have been very clear that that's the future in terms of interoperability and being collaborative. And yet it's so funny how so many projects are, also communities are so have so much friction amongst other communities. It's just a bizarre sort of reality that we live in. But I think the sooner we have interoperability and shared ethoses and coming together, obviously that will just help alleviate any toxicity. But ultimately, a lot of that just comes down to jealousy and people wanting to pump their own bags and all the rest of it, which it is what it is. So I think that's quite interesting. So who knows what will come out of it. But again, it's a long-term sort of structural change, and I think it's really important just to fully understand it. And there's probably a lot more to it than I've just explained, as I try and do this one-take video and share with you a few snippets of what I'm sort of aware of and all the rest of it. But obviously, if there's anything that you guys aware of or have a perspective, put it in the comments. It'd be really interesting to hear. Good to sort of hear other views and other opinions. But again, I just want to stress, this is huge. This is really huge. It's not been done before. And when it has been done, I believe it was a complete, I think Ethereum tried it, and I think it was a complete cock-up. But I'm not 100% sure. And again, I haven't spent any time sort of researching it. But it's a big thing, guys. And again, if you're in the Cardano community, you're in it because actually you believe that it's a project that is significantly going to try and improve the world, change the world, and it's going to be around here for longer than you and I, that's for sure. So it's a great community. It's got great ethoses. It's got a great vision. Yeah, and I think in terms of if you're worried about price or things not moving quickly, again, just zoom out, guys. Cardano will do its thing when it's ready. So just enjoy it. But listen, I'm going to wrap up there. Thanks so much for watching. Give us a like I said. Give us a subscribe. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'll share some more of my sort of thoughts when I get a moment, when I'm driving, do my one-take videos in between all the rest of it. And I'll catch you guys soon. Take care.